As indicated yesterday, we are now in a period of state of emergency. The police commissioner is the controller of the state of emergency. This is to ensure that we put in place an isolation strategy and we can pinpoint exactly if the virus is present in our country after the first case that indicated security breach in as far as protection of our country from virus is concerned. The first case, the patient has been transferred to Australia as I speak today. Today he was evacuated for further medical tests and confirmation of his status because we've had 3 tests conducted by our own PNG Institute of Medical Research, of which 1 returned positive and 2 were inconclusive. And so, but he flew out in good health and good state. He was physically fit as he flew out today, and he's undergoing further tests in Australia, and his results will be made known to us for us to announce to the country. But having said this, because it is only 1 case, doesn't give us the luxury of being complacent. We will not be complacent. We're taking every step necessary to do a retrospective test on check on his footprint in our country and the contacts he's made to ensure that the contacts he's made are brought into test and to ensure that they themselves are tested and given medical clearance. So those retrospective check on his footprints are being undertaken as we speak, and in the press tomorrow I will have, or the controller or relevant minister will have further details on this. But our first and important strategy is to assess whereabout in the country is coronavirus present, if there is any. And that is the reason why we have called this state of emergency, to have a certain lockdown in our country so that our citizens are not moving from one district to another district, or not moving from one province to another province, so that in the 14 days period we will ascertain exactly what is the impact of the virus in our country, for us to have fullest appreciation and for us to have strategies in which we could work going forward into the future to eliminate the coronavirus amongst us. In as far as the state of emergency is concerned, these are a few things that a country must need to know, and the provincial administrators in the respective provinces with the provincial health authorities and the provincial police commanders will be lead heads in the provincial level to handle awareness, coordination of prevention or treatment of patients at the provincial level. There will be no public travels, utilizing public motor vehicles or unnecessary civilian travels from town to town, district to district, or province to province, and that includes land transport, air transport, and maritime transport or water transport for the next 14-day period. And that is smaller inconvenience our nation will have to face in the context of preventing the spread of virus in our country, and also in an effort to correctly map out where the virus is located. In the next 14 days, all schools will remain shut, and most of you would know this is the last week of a normal school week period, and so ask our schools to shut down. Today, the boarding schools right across the country, from high schools to tertiary schools, are asked to maintain their students in the respective schools as a prevention tool, as well as to assist us map out as to where coronavirus may be. But the day schools, from primary school, high school, and the day students are asked to stay at home, and we ask them not to move around, but they must be remain static for the next 14 or 13 days in where their place of residence is. All essential services will be maintained, and that includes health services, public utilities like water, power, and communication, banks, shops, fuel stations. Police and defense will be at work. So I take this time to announce to the country that just because there is a state of emergency shutdown doesn't mean every essential services and public services come to a standstill. Shops will still be operational. We encourage public to respect shops, respect business. There's a scale down place on our businesses and our employees, including our public service employees, for only essential services to be provided. That includes them scaling down on their workplace, practicing healthy workplace habits in the face of coronavirus. But essential services like health services, public utilities, banks, shops, fuel stations, police and defense, plus others that controller will assess from time to time, only on allowance from the controller, then we will allow to be engaged. So if any one of you who want to seek a view on what are essential services, or you feel that you need to be still engaged, then the controller is the only person that is allowed to give you the allowances. As I said earlier, we are asking our public service to scale down operations, and including our private sector employees. Only those essential to run those organizations will be maintained, and the employees and the respective designated employee organizational heads will be asked to make the call to only essentially keep those that need to be kept, and others can be wait on seat for the next 14 days. Papua New Guinea Defence Force is on standby to assist police in this SOA period and beyond, including the call-out period. We will be charging those who are spreading false rumors and those who are organizing public gatherings. In this instance, we call on everyone to cooperate here. This is a time in which the nation should support one another, and there is no time for us to spread false rumors and organize public gatherings unnecessarily. Public gathering beyond 100 is not allowed for, and so we ask everyone to respect the engagement rules and to ensure that there is no public assembly or spreading of false rumors. I had the privilege of meeting CEOs of all our banks in our country, as well as central bank governor today, and including our CEOs of our super funds. And we're in discussion, and the central bank governor is now working with them to ensure that there's an economic stimulus package to assist individual families who possibly may have loans with the banks or lending institutions in our country, or businesses, and as well as our government. So let me thank our financial institutions, our banks, as well as our two super funds and our central bank for the understanding that our economy is interlinked to what is happening outside globally in our region as well as domestically, and they're very understanding towards tailoring an economic package that should lift the burden of many Papua New Guineans who will be going through these trying times, especially those who have loans and are attached with the banks with repayment schedules. We are working to ensure that banks are considerate that these are trying times and they need to be lighter on Papua New Guineans who may be stressed. Let me conclude by saying COVID-19 hasn't killed one person yet. Whilst we discuss and are sensitive to the risk that is posed, let me also at the same time inform Papua New Guineans. No one Papua New Guinean person has died yet. The only known case has been removed from our country. And I thank the company in which he was employed with, and I thank the Australian government for partnership in that space. He's now moved out for further tests. He moved out with good health, and we will know his state of health later on, but we are doing those retrospective checks. And COVID-19, if it is established that it has spread amongst us, I encourage the country not to be patient. It is a flu-like disease. It is a pandemic. We will try our absolute best to mobilize government resources from within 2020 budget envelopes, as well as mobilizing multilaterals and bilateral partners who've indicated their support to us. And in this meeting that I just come out of, where governors are now linked and provincial governments are now linked to the central coordination center here at the Marape House, will coordinate it better going into the future. That 14-day shutdown will give us an opportunity to pinpoint exactly where the virus is, if it is still in our country. And I speak at this time to appeal to those who travel in the north at Wanemu area into Jayapura, selling vanillas and for economic pursuits. Today is no time for you to continue on doing business at the risk of allowing our country to be exposed to corona. There will be stiffer penalties. We're mobilizing police and defense to go and have greater presence in Wanemu, greater presence also to look at the border movements in Daru, as well as for us to protect our borders. The traditional border crossers are asked to stop moving around. If you are caught moving around, there will be heavy penalties attached with your moving around. But in the meantime, we ask every citizen to respect the call out and the state of emergency orders that is made, and for the next 14 days, assist your country in establishing exactly where the virus is, if there is any virus in our country. And after 14 days, if we do establish where the virus is, we have strategies put in place to go in hard, attack where the virus is, and go into the process of eliminating and by treating those who are affected. But at this point in time, as I speak, there is no indication as yet to a second person who is positive. We only had one case positive. After 2 negative tests, 1 confirmed test, he's now being medicated out of this country, and we will wait for this result. But at this point in time, we are working through for the next 14 days or 13 days to ensure that we fully ascertain the state of our country as far as its exposure to coronavirus.